the change seems to be slow. It's quite slow, isn't it?
Yeah, and anything that is going to be enduring will not come by a sudden flight. If you see anything that is too showy, that is too cheap, watch it. It will not last. But anything that will be enduring, that will last, must necessarily be painstaking. It must necessarily be contemplative, as our president is doing it now. I tell you, he wants to build an edifice that will be enduring. If he wanted, he could do all the shows and get all the applause. At the end of 4 years, Nigerians will not have seen any change.
So President Buhari is being precise.
Quite being precise, and at the end of it all, we will see the result of that preciseness. I will be glad.
I saw him yesterday during an event with young people, and each time I look at him, he looks like a man deep in thought, like focused on particular issue. You work very close with President Buhari. Can you describe him?
Yes, we have always known President Buhari as a deeply reflective man, not a frivolous person. He has his humorous side. He throws wisecracks and you laugh, but we know that he's also a deep, contemplative, reflective person. That is why when he takes any decision, you know that he must have given time and deep thought to it.
Without going into details, if you don't want to, how huge is the problem with the country? Before coming in, it seems he is not expecting that it's going to be as difficult.
I think it's very huge. It's very, very huge, and it's on several fronts. Insecurity is there, very huge. But happily, we are getting to the end of that. Gradually, there's light, good light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, the unemployment burden is quite huge. He said a couple of days ago that he campaigned using 60% of Nigerian youth unemployed. That's the statistics he used. It could even be higher because the unemployment situation is enormous. And then there's a third one, the anti-corruption burden. That one is enough to drown a horse. So the burden the president is carrying is very huge.
Is he prepared for this?
Quite. In fact, you don't say in a country of 170 million that there is nobody else who can do anything, but I believe that if Nigeria misses this opportunity of the country being set on the proper track by President Buhari, Nigeria has missed a lot.
You mentioned the corruption, and one of the things he said during his campaign was he is going to declare his assets publicly.
Yeah.
That has not been done.
No, you need to get his words right. Go and check all that the president said during the campaign. In no place will you see it attributed to him as a person. But then there is a document by his party, the All Progressive Congress, saying he will declare publicly. So we need to set that right. It's a declaration by his party. Now, what does the law require? The law requires public officers to declare their assets. He has done that. But then his party has a document that says he will do it publicly. But there is a procedure for that. And the procedure is you first declare, code of conduct will verify, and after that, if you want to make it public, the onus is on you to say release. So the procedure has to be followed. He has declared and is deposited with the code of conduct, and they need to verify.
Will he declare it publicly?
Oh, let's come to that time when the code of conduct bureau says we have completed verification.
One other question is appointment of ministers. Apart from two major appointments and the service chiefs, we don't have a secretary of state. That is what they call it abroad.
Yeah, okay.
The secretary to the
government of the federation. Yes.
That shouldn't.
Well, those are like the president's personal staff, and the prerogative is his own to appoint them. What I keep saying is, if Nigerians trusted this president to give him a mandate, let them also trust him to do the right things. For the cabinet, he has said it will be done in September. I believe all the other appointments will come. And when they come, I'm sure they are going to be the best for Nigeria.
Now, there's this thing about President Buhari that you cannot tell where his going. He's one of the presidents that you can hardly predict his direction. Is this style fit for Nigeria?
Well, style, they say, is idiosyncratic. It differs from person to person. Therefore, you can't say this is the style that all leaders must follow. So, he has a right to his style. But I think his style is good for the moment, because the style you also adopt from time to time depends on situation and circumstances. I think the situation and circumstances he met on ground, the style he has adopted to tackle those things he went on ground just fit.
Okay, let's talk about yourself and his other spokesperson, Garba.
Yes.
On social media, you're not quite popular because you seem to be the gentle type.
Oh yes, yes.
Is that deliberate?
Don't also forget that myself and Malam Garba, we are people that have spent about 3 decades each in the traditional media. And curiously, both of us grew to become President Nigeria Guild of Editors. Both of us became editor-in-chief. He was editor-in-chief of Triumph newspaper in Kano. I became editor-in-chief of The Sun. So you see that our career trajectory has been similar. Now we have come to this assignment. We do social media, but I would say marginally.
So are you going to make up for that?
No, we have recognized that we also would need robust social media, and in the layout for this media department, there is going to be a special assistant whose duty will be to man the social media.
Give me an exclusive. Do I
Just wait, it will be unfolded quite soon.
So
it will be unveiled.
The president is not going to be old school. He's going to have
No, definitely not. The social media is going to be robust. We, myself and Malanga Rubashe, we will also play in the social media, but maybe tangentially, but that person is going to man the social media.
I was in Maiduguri for 5 days and 5 nights, and the situation there, even though citizens acknowledge there is an improvement in security, and they credit the president's effort in the last few months, but we still have IDPs coming in, and I must say the conditions in those camps are nothing to write home about, despite the visit of the vice president as the senate president. What is the president's feeling about this situation?
He feels very distressed. There was a day that he was at a security briefing, and when they were talking about those IDPs and the conditions of the victims of Boko Haram and all that, you could see how he was reacting. My heart went out to him. I felt for him, because you could see that he was touched to the point of almost shaking physically, and that shows you that we have a president that is concerned, that cares. When we were in the United States in July, and the World Bank disclosed that it will give about $2.1 million to Nigeria as a soft loan to rebuild the Northeast. The president said the first priority should be resettling the IDPs from that money when it comes. So he's quite concerned about them. He's aware. When we went to Cameroon, he spoke with the president of Cameroon about the IDPs too. He's quite concerned about them. And yes, you said things were getting better. When you went to Maiduguri, it will get a lot better. Today, when he decorated the chief of defense staff and the service chiefs, he gave them a mandate, end this thing in 3 months. Don't forget that in US, he had said 18 months earlier. He gave a timeline of 18 months, but now he has changed it to 3 months because he has seen some hope, and he has seen that this thing can be beaten within 3 months.
One of the problems we have with past administrations, specifically the ones, the last one that's being replaced, is that aides are not able to advise principals. Are you able to look into President Buhari where things are wrong and said, I don't think that is
I'll tell you the day I resumed. The day I resumed, he was still at Defense House. And you know, when we went in to talk, you know what he told me? He said, Femi, make sure you tell me the truth always. Wow. Make sure you tell me the truth always. Anytime you want to see me, you can see me. But tell me the truth always. He said, you know, I'm a general, I can argue, but please argue with me. That's why, and I've held to that. If there is a need to raise a contrary opinion, I'll tell him. If there's a need to argue, I'll argue. One thing about the president is, if he has done something that you think has not measured up, if you raise it with him, he listens. He listens.
Mr. Femi Adesina, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure. Pleasure. Pleasure.